He blesses us. We sing to him, and he sings songs over us. Now for the Baptist. We dance, he dances. Worship is like the tide coming and going. Remember, David danced. He was ridiculed for it. What's it going to be like in heaven? You know? In Zephaniah 3:17, we discover the Lord your God is in your midst. The mighty one will save. He will rejoice over you with gladness. He will quiet you with his love. He will rejoice over you with singing. Because we are created to worship to God, nothing else we do in life will fill that void. Nothing. Try to find satisfaction somewhere else, you're not going to find it. Some worship self or money, some idols, other false gods. Only when we worship God can we find true happiness and fulfillment. Through worship, God is glorified, Christians are purified, and the church is edified, and the lost are evangelized. Many scientists believe today that the first cause, number 3 of the points I had, is the presence of beauty and some sublimity. Explanation. The argument is based upon the presence of beauty and sublimity in the universe. It observes that we have both. The presence of beauty in nature and self and in art produced by man. The response of man to such beauty, appreciation, and awe, also called the aesthetic argument. Ecclesiastes 3:11, he has made everything beautiful in his time. Also he put eternity in the heavens, except that no one find out the works that God does from beginning to end. Acts 26:25, and he made from one blood every nation of men to dwell on all the face of the earth, and has determined their pre-appropriate times and boundaries of their dwellings, so that they may seek the Lord in hopes that they might grope for him and find him, though he is not far from each one of us. Every effect must have a cause. One form of the argument has 3 simple steps. Whatever begins to exist must have a cause. The universe began to exist, therefore the universe has a cause. This argument is called the common cosmological argument, formulated in its present form by a gentleman by Al-Ghazali, a Muslim who lived from 1058 to 1111. This argument is generally called the cosmological argument. Its implication is many scientists believe the first cause to be the Big Bang, because of the evidence of the astronomy, but the Big Bang itself is an effort. So what caused this Big Bang? Just didn't happen. Big Bang just went off, and there we are. A little tiny thing just exploded into all this. Remember, matter can't be created or destroyed. So, I mean, it's kind of like, I like the analogy of a 747 being created by a tornado going through a junkyard. Ain't gonna happen. Ain't gonna happen. Psalm 14 says, the fool has said in his heart, there is no God. They are corrupt. They have done abominable works. There is none who does good. The wicked in his proud countenance does not seek God. God is in none of his thoughts. Is God in your thoughts? So the Bible reveals an adequate cause in the beginning, God. God said it, I believe it, it's so. Amen. It comes to that sometimes. You have to just know that it's so. You have to trust that God is in control. A common objective, who caused God? This objective fails to clearly note the first premise of the argument. Whatever begins to exist must have a cause. By definition, God is eternal. He is an eternal being possessing eternal power. Psalm 90, verse 2, and Romans 1:20. Romans 1:20 I have. For the wrath of God is revealed from heaven against all ungodliness and righteousness of man, who suppress the truth in unrighteousness. Because what may be known of God is manifest in them, for God has shown it to them. For since the creation of the world, his invisible attributes are clearly seen, being understood by the things that are made, even his eternal power and Godhead, so that they are without excuse, because they thought they knew God. They did not glorify him as God, nor were thankful, but became futile in their thoughts, and their foolish hearts were darkened. Professing to be wise, they became fools, and changed the glory of God into an image made like corruptible man, the birds and four-footed animals and creeping things. Look at the earth movement today. We're worshiping the earth. There's a theory that says, the Gaia theory, that says earth is actually a living organism. Here Romans 1 says that they will worship the earth. Look at the depravity we're seeing in our society. I mean, my wife and I discussed this. I mean, every generation has seen it. My parents said the thing that influenced them most, and they thought the world was ending, when they saw the atom bomb going off in World War II when they were in the theaters. They both served. They thought, that's it. We're going to be dead soon. So, therefore, God also gave them up to uncleanliness in the lust of their hearts, to dishonor their bodies among themselves, who engaged the truth of God for a lie, and worshipped and served the creature rather than the Creator, who is blessed forever. Amen. We're living in a Romans 1 generation. Because of this, God gave them up to vile passions, depravity, the internet, porn, everything, you name it, it's happening. We just don't see it because we're not looking for it, but it's out there. For this reason, God gave up to their passions, for even the women exchanged the natural use what is against nature. Likewise also the men, leaving the natural use of women, burning in their lust for one another, men with men committing what is shameful, receiving in themselves the penalty of their error, which was due. I worked in an emergency room. I worked in hospitals. I see things I can't even describe here. I see diseases I can't even tell you. You don't know. I know. And even as they did not like to retain God in their knowledge, God gave them over to a debased mind to do these things which are not fitting. This revelation has sufficient to leave them without excuse, because when thus they knew him as God, they were guilty of these sins. They glorified him not as God, neither were they thankful. They became vain in their reasoning, imaginations darkened their senseless, foolish hearts. Professing to be wise, they became foolish, became idolaters, changing the glory of the corruptible God into image like corruptible man, birds, beasts, and creeping things, worshiping the creation. Life from random chance does not explain the universe. Now, by definition, God is eternal. He is an eternal being, possessing eternal power. He is a spiritual being. His omnipresence means he's everywhere. Illustrates how he defines laws of nature. God doesn't work in our time. He doesn't work in our dimension. He's extra dimensional. So the argument does not apply to him. He is the uncaused cause of all things. God is the ultimate first cause, not an effect that requires a cause. So finally, the scientific fields kind of support intelligent design. I like science. True science is measurable, observable, and repeatable. Measurable, observable, and repeatable. You see so much junk science out there. It's just, I ask, is it measurable, repeatable, observable? It's not, but it is portrayed as science. Global warming.
Yes.
A lot of stuff in the psychology field. Evolution.
Yep.
The evidence for intelligent design. Whatever is designed must have a designer. A watch shows design implies a watchmaker. To credit such intricate and precise workmanship to blind chance is unreasonable. Many things in the world show evidence of design. Orderly movement of heavenly bodies making space travel possible,